He had this scar and he wanted to cover it up. And a lot of people have questions like, can you go over a scar? He had surgery. He almost lost his leg. It healed like that. So this is what we came up with. He got it all done. One shot. That's a front view. Here's a side view. So let me go over some of the things that we did. You know, the plant, the leaf pattern that you see engulfing the piece is growth. To me, I see growth. Now, is that what it means traditionally? No. You know, the plant or could mean family. The progress and evolution of Polynesian tattoos have been vast.
Yeah.
From ancient times to today, it's so different. Like, it went in so many different directions. From hand tapping, now they hand tap with stainless steel. Like, they solder needles together to form a comb to mimic the ancient comb of bone with stainless steel. And they do that so that they can tattoo legally in a shop. There is controversy because you say, oh, that's not traditional. You don't do it that way. You know, we could spend all day talking about, well, what is traditional?
Yeah.
And where's the line? Where's the line on traditional? Like, can you use store-bought ink? Or do you have to make it with
like the traditional ink? Yeah.
Do you have to burn your own ink? Do you do it with needles? Or do you use bone? And do you do it in a house? Or do you do it on the beach? You know, like, we can go all day on tradition.
Yeah.
You know, or you could follow your na'au, which is your gut, or your pu'uvai, your heart, which is what Uncle Elamano taught me and what I grew up with in Hawaii. Our ancestors taught us all differently. I'm going to tell you what I go by, and that's why I'm breaking down these tattoos. And eventually, everyone's going to be able to break down tattoos themselves because it's consistent. There is consistency in the way that I do things. Because I am guided. So let's go back. The leaf pattern represents growth, and on the inside of this pattern, which is kind of being engulfed. Okay, so it starts off with the crab. Okay, so basically this whole portion of his leg was a majority of where his scar was, and that to me was talking to me, saying that this scar was a big part of his life and changed his life, which is why the crab symbolizes, you know, shedding your shell and growing into a new man, a new experience, a new life. For him, that experience created a new life for him. And to many, it could be a bad experience. He was a very positive guy, and he has a family, and everything he wanted his tattoo to be about represented his family. And so it was a positive thing. And so for me, it was growth in his life, and it was a new life. He has protection. He has balance. He has some birds. So he has his journey. So this was his journey, always like moving forward in his life. And then a big part of his life was waves, water. He loves water. He wanted to make sure that was included in there. And if you look on the front, there's some ferns. Koru, which is, you know, new growth and beginnings in his life, which is what this created for him. Was like a new life and growth and new beginnings for him. So moving on to around the back, you could just see a backside. Here, this was the outside. One thing that he really wanted was a turtle, a honu. And he wanted that because to him, the honu represented his family. That was everything to him. So we included, he had a son and a daughter. So he wanted a plumeria, hibiscus, anything with a flower in it. So I said, okay, you know, you don't want to put a plumeria all over a guy's tattoo, and it might turn it feminine. Something that came to my mind was, hey, you know what? He has a son and a daughter, and they're both equally important to him. And so why don't we put a masculine and a feminine together? So I put fish hooks with the plumeria to represent his kids. And then the plant is surrounding it, which is family. And then the honu itself represents his wife. And his wife was kind of like a foundation for him. He said, you know, she held everything together. She's like solid, you know, solid rock of his family. So I put the lauhala mat on the bottom of the feet, which represents foundation, a solid foundation. And then the leaves that represent family, and then the waves, again, to encompass what is important to him. So here's a before and after, and, you know, you guys could tell me what you think. he wanted a band to kind of just encompass that scar area, and that's what it looked like.
What I think is, what scar?
And just to let you guys know, if you are a tattoo artist or you have a scar and you want to cover it up, you don't just cover a scar up with something thinking that ink will just, cover it.
Yeah.
The good thing to do, because scars have risen skin.
Yeah.
And if you just kind of go over it with black and you don't really care about where the scar looks like or how it is, it might stand out and be noticeable. So what I like to do is go with the scar, and if there's like a scar going in this curved line, well, then use that line. It's almost like using the muscle structure. And most artists know this, but if you want to go out and get a tattoo and you have a scar to cover it up, think about this when you go on and an artist is doing something and it's not going with that scar, you could possibly suggest it. But as I went with the scar, it really helped to cover up the scar. It was a deep scar. It was very noticeable. And now it's hard to even see it and notice it. So there you go.